Simplicity slid under the radar like they tend to do from time to time, and they released their fall collection. So today's First Impression Friday, we are going to take a look at what they've got and see what we think. So, wow, look at this price point, $15.37. I wonder, is that a sale price? No, that's full price for Simplicity Patterns. This first one is a knit top, pants, and knit cape. Okay, they still haven't fixed their website. Well, I don't mean to say fixed. Obviously, it's not broken. It's just not super easy to use. I guess I'd kind of hoped by now we would have a more functioning website, more similar to what they have at McCall's. But alas, here we are. Okay, so this is the knit cape, and I'm assuming you make it from fabric yardage. You don't actually knit it yourself. You've got this top with a cuff and then some kind of pant with a really interesting hemline and very interesting shoes. Not that the shoes really matter, but in terms of styling and sellability, I think they do. The pants looks like they have some pleats and then kind of like a little adjustable belt. This cape thing, you can be worn many ways, and it looks like the sleeve has a little slit as well. Here's the shirt without the cape, and you can tell it's just like a high neck. The sleeve is very roomy. It's almost like kind of like a flared sleeve. And maybe the back has some kind of elastic in it. Here's the picture of the back. Actually, the fit of the back around her hips is really quite nice. I like how it's more like a trouser. It's just this hemline. Maybe she's just very tall. I don't know. This hemline with like the rounded toe boot, it just feels very clunky and heavy. I would not have chosen that, but either way. And then here you can see this cape thing. So interesting. I mean, I guess. I don't know that I want that thing trailing behind me though. Can't you just see that getting stuck like in doorways and stuff? And like when you get in the car, you sit down and now you've got your cape is like hanging out the door, flying around. I don't know, it's just a lot to like wrangle in, But here's a line let's get to the other line drawings actually. Okay, here's a line drawing of everything. The cape line drawing does look really cool. Maybe it's that sweater knit. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other fabrics that would look really cool made out of this. I mean, maybe a sweater knit, but just not so chunky of a sweater knit. Maybe, I don't know. Do you guys have what's jumping out at you guys? It is kind of cool, especially if you take these little tails and like wrap them around you into like a little mock, scarf type thing. I mean, I guess maybe flannel if you're going for the scarf route. I don't know. We'll see what the recommendations are. And then here's the top, really basic, really basic. I feel like that's just like a throw in. And then here's the pant. So the pant has elastic around 3/4 of it. Paper bag waist in the back and front. Here are those pleats. And then like a loose fitting trouser, like we saw on the model. Here's the back of the envelope. Fabrics A and B, size for stretch knits only, such as jersey, ponte, and rib knits. That's the top and the pants. And then, oh wait, no, A and B. That's the cape and the top. Okay, a rib knit now out of this. I can see that. Jersey and ponte? I don't know. I don't even know about ponte for the top. I think it should be jersey top, ponte pants, and rib knit Dumahik cape. But the pants actually are for wovens. So they're mixing it up. I don't know that I've seen that very often where they have one pattern in woven and the others in knit. I mean, maybe I just never really paid attention. But so your typical like, bottom weights, crepe, denim, poplin, wool blends. I mean, you could do ponte too, but you've already got the elastic waist, and so you don't really need that extra stretch. And obviously they're very roomy, so you really don't need any stretch. And then you just need a little bit of elastic for the pants. 2 yards of 60-inch fabric for that cape thing. So you better really love that design. And then just a little bit for the top, and then pants, 2.5, 3 yards. That makes sense. We've got some finished garment measurements, which is nice. For the bust, it goes from 32.5 to 48. Again, that's for the top, and I guess technically the cape too, but this is probably for the top. Again, the top was very loose fitting, made from a knit, and then for the pants, you have a 41-inch hip to a 56.5-inch hip. And again, you saw how generous the pants fit the model. So again, that kind of makes sense to me. And then you have lengths, which I don't know that they paid a lot of attention to with her. Hers could have been a good inch or maybe more longer. But yeah, that's it. 2 size ranges, 6 to 14, and then 16 to 24. Again, where the sizes do not overlap. It's not a 6 to 14 and then 14 to 24. So you got to keep that in mind. And long sleeve knit top, pull-on pants, and short turtleneck cape with asymmetrical ties. All right. It's interesting. I mean, I appreciate that you could wear this in the time of COVID. It is comfy. It is easy to wear, but you still look like you tried. So that's good. Now we're moving right into jackets. It looks like an oversized situation. Mrs. Relaxed Fit jacket and coat have shaped collar, sleeve cuffs, and pocket detail. Includes fur collar cuffs and suede or leather belts. Now, why they didn't make that version, I don't know. That seems like it would certainly help it stand out. But nonetheless, here we are. It is very oversized. You've got this drop shoulder with the sleeve that's super long, even though it's already cuffed. And then, I mean, there's just no shape to it at all. I do like this, though. This is pretty. This little rounded front is cute. Big kind of single notch. Not even a notch. What would that just be? A single lapel? Or just a lapel? Actually, no. It's like a shawl because it just folds over. And then here it is with your leather belt. I don't know, you guys. That just seems like an afterthought. It also looks a lot like a robe. A lot like a robe. A very, very large robe. Here it is in the back. Look at these sleeves. Yeah, I mean, I get that this is like a look, but you're going to spend a lot of money on all this fabric, and I don't know. They certainly made the line drawings look really good, especially with this, the collar. I just feel like this is really plain and bland and oversized. Kind of like it was a hand-me-down. It kind of looks like, somebody just gave this to you. It doesn't really fit, but whatever, it keeps you warm. This looks a little bit more I guess, put together. And the wider belt makes a lot more sense. And then C, I guess, is a shorter version. Yeah, it stops right underneath these pockets. So here's the rest of the line drawings, or I guess a bigger version of them. I mean, I could see it like this, but I would probably size down. Maybe 2 sizes just to get it a little bit closer, a little bit more tailored. Um, Brocade, fleece, ponte, velveteen, wool, and wool types. And then the faux fur, and then synthetic leather or synthetic suede. Now, B, okay, hold on, because they only have the one belt, which is this. Is that? Because on this line drawing, it looks much more substantial. So I'm not entirely sure what happened, why the sample doesn't match the line drawing. But, if this were 2 inches, that I guess it's because the jacket's so oversized and the belt is so thin, they just don't, that doesn't match up to me. So the belt needs to be thicker to match up to the substantial weight and size of that jacket. Okay, so it's alphanumeric sizing. There's a snap somewhere. That's interesting. I don't know where, but there's one in there somewhere. Okay, and then alphanumeric sizing. Yeah, I mean, almost 4 yards of fabric for these, almost 3 for the short version. You just really want to make sure that, it's going to still be cool in, 2 or 3 years, because this is going to be expensive. Finished bust measurements, yeah, 40 to 61 inches. And then they don't even have the hip. I imagine it's pretty straight down though. So like I might make a small if I were going to make this, just to get it a little bit closer fitted, a little bit. Mostly in the shoulders, I think. Right? That's where, and the sleeve, God, the sleeve is so big, especially from the back. So, all right. All the sizes are in one pattern though, which is nice. All right, now we've got a Mimi G coat and jacket. Is this, okay, the sleeve is part of it. Okay. So you've got, well, it's cute. Yeah. I like the girly kind of vibe that she added to the sleeve. The front is pretty straightforward, like trench coat meets, pea coat type of situation, single breasted. But the sleeve is really what is the design element here. So you've got this bubble sleeve with like a knit, and I don't know if that's rib knit or what, but like a knit close fitting sleeve part from the elbow down, which I really do think is kind of cool. I'm not here for this orange color, just especially with this not so orange color. Not my favorite, but I'm trying to imagine it in like a winter white. That would look super chic, or like a light gray would look really nice. But there's also this cropped version. What's happening? Okay, there's also this cropped version that she made out of this wool plaid, which is kind of cool. I wish I could see it from, I guess I have to unzoom to see it this way. Yeah, again, it's better. I just think now I think that the plaid is like just too much. It's like plaid plus the sleeve plus the contrasting bottom portion of the sleeve. It's too many things. I think again, a simple, solid, neutral color would really make this very elevated and very chic. I could totally see myself making this cropped version like 1,000%. Um, and it's really kind of interesting because normally you make a coat to wear like over sweaters, and it's just a fall type of thing, where you've got your button down or your long sleeve top or dress or something underneath. But with this, you would basically be putting this over just short sleeve stuff. I mean, I guess technically you could put a long sleeve under there, but you could also just wear it, as if this is the sweater. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if her t-shirt was this same fabric. I wonder how that would look styled, if it looked like this was part of the t-shirt. So that's an interesting thought as well. Okay. Let's see if we can zoom back in again. What is happening? This website does not like me anymore. Okay. So here are the line drawings. I actually don't feel like the line drawings do it justice. They make the sleeves look weird. But the made up versions look really good. Okay, here are our line drawings again. Oh, and here's the back, which we don't get a view of. Picture wise. But there's this little belt thing, which it doesn't really serve a purpose, I don't think. It seems long, so it's not like it's pulling in the waist any. I don't know. Does anybody know what is this just decorative? Okay. So, brocade, corduroy, cottons, crepe, denim, double knit, ponte, wool blends. Denim, that's interesting. Corduroy is also interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is really getting my wheels turning, which is what I love about looking at new patterns. It's not something I've seen 1,000 times, so that's really good. And then the little part of the sleeve, the little bottom sleeve, is a rib knit. I mean, you could also do, I'm sure you could also do any type of like cotton jersey, some kind of like substantial um, knit that's not ribbed. You just might have to check the sizing on it. And so, yeah, she's recommending the tubular rib knit, which you can find online. You certainly don't have to use that either. You could just get like a flat rib knit. Okay, so you do need quite a bit of fabric. For the long version, you need up to 4 yards, and for the shorter version, you need right about 3. Finished garment measurements, they have the bust here. It's a pretty roomy jacket. So 40-inch to 56-inch bust. I quite like this. Again, it is giving me lots to like mull over and consider, and like kind of like gets my creativity going, which feels good. All right, now we've got this Mrs. Dress. Very chic. It's a rib knit dress. And rib knit is very comfortable, but very showy too. Most rib knits are kind of thin and they're going to show everything. So you've got this kind of floppy turtleneck. I mean, it is I don't want to call it oversized, but it is a taller turtleneck. You've got a set-in sleeve that could be a little longer for her. You've got this belt that, oh no, is it a wrap? It might be a wrap. Or is a skirt a wrap? I'm confused. Also, is it drop waist? Because her waistline is up here. So I'm not entirely sure about that. And then it comes down midi length. I mean, again, on her figure, it looks phenomenal. A fuller figured, pear shapes, it would still look exceptional. Just depends on how comfortable you are with showing your figure. So it has fisheye darts in the back. Super happy to see that. Do you see what I mean though? Like even just her underwear, like you can see the lines of her underwear. So if you've got any any kind of like anything, it's gonna show. But it's all one back piece. So that makes me think it is a wrap. Super, super chic sleeveless. And then you can also do it without the turtleneck and do this bell sleeve, which is a little bit like, we need another view. What can we do? So I don't know. Maybe that's probably not exactly how it went. Okay, so here's how it works. That's supposed to bring me some clarity, I think, although I'm not so sure I have it. I think what happens is this little panel is sewn into the side seam and then wraps around the front and ties. So it is full on faux wrap. I also think that it is supposed to, the skirt is this, I don't even know what that's called. This little flappy thing is supposed to sit at the natural waist. So it looks like it's a little bit long-waisted. So you'd want to check the length from the neckline to the waist. This shows that it does have belt carriers, which is good. But that's because this doesn't have the wrap thing, which I don't think I noticed before. This is just one solid front. So really cute option for like layering. I can see, you know, especially the sleeveless version, I can see that done a ton of different ways. Maybe even with Mimi's jacket, I think it would look really good. All right, size for stretch knits only, bamboo, cotton knits, interlock, jersey, modal, and sweater knits. So yeah, maybe some kinds of sweater knits would be a little bit thicker and a little bit less clingy. That modal though, that is going to be like basically you're naked. Bamboo, pretty much naked. Cotton knits, interlock, jersey, those are going to be a little bit more structured, kind of tend to float away from the body a little bit. Those other ones are going to be like saran wrap. All right, so you just need thread, single fold bias tape for the arm side, and oh, they even put for armhole, and then swimsuit elastic for the neckline of C. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, good. It seems to be very well drafted, so that's nice. The longer version with the panel is about 2.5 yards of fabric, but these other ones, well, B without the sleeves, it's just because the front and the back are one piece. So they're probably having you fold in your selvages toward the center and cutting them on the fold that way, but they're just long, midi length, you know. Here are finished bust and hip measurements, and you can see just how close fitting this is. 31-inch bust up to 44.5, and then a 34.5 to 48. So actually those are my typical sizes, 16 to 22. But those are my exact measurements. No ease, but also no negative ease. So I guess that's the intention of how it's supposed to fit. Yeah, I think if you came across some really cool sweater knit fabric, it could be It could be really fun. And you can also shorten it. It doesn't have to be, you can shorten it to knee length, save a little bit of fabric, save a little bit of money. The sizing is 6 to 14 and then 14 to 22. So on this one, they do overlap. I don't understand why we can't be consistent. Why can't we just, if it's going to come in 2 different sizes, just do them all the same? I really, truly cannot think of why some would be 6 to 14, 16 to 22, and other ones are not. Like, I just, I don't know. That blows my mind. Okay, now we have this Mrs. dress with sleeve and length variations. So it looks like a rounded collar, set in sleeve. There's something going on here. We've got a belt. We've got some kind of leggy opening. This print is really hard to see. What's happening? That's no better. Does it have princess seams? Let's just skip here so we can see what's going on. Oh, I couldn't see any of that in that busy print. Okay. So you've got a curved empire waist with pleats for your bust. You've got princess seams through the skirt. One of them has a slit. You've got this like ruching detail on the sleeve, and then fisheye darts in the back. And then all of these sleeve options. So in addition to your little ruched sleeve, you've got a short sleeve, a long flutter sleeve, and then the 2 different lengths. The back is so pretty. Now, is this for knits? No, this is for wovens. Okay. Yep, so imagine like your lightweight wovens, crepe, rayon, stuff like that. Very close fitting, obviously. Yeah, I can see that seam now. The belt seems kind of unnecessary. Like, I don't know if I like the fact that there's a seam here, but the belt is here. Like, what is the belt doing? It's not holding anything up. It's not holding anything in because it's already close fitting. It's not covering a seam line. I don't really know the point of the belt. Here's the back. So you can see they get that gorgeous fit in the back with the fisheye darts. I really haven't had to scream and yell about fisheye darts in quite a while. Maybe they started listening to me. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So yeah, crepe, challis. Oh wait, there is a knit version. Jersey, laundered silk. Oh my God, can you imagine? Lightweight ponte, rayon, washed linen, and velvet. Velvet would also be really pretty. So it is like woven, but also some more stable knits. Like jersey, ponte, and velvet usually has some stretch to it. And then all you need is your zipper and some thread and some interfacing. The long sleeve, long hemline does take, quite a bit. Well, not a lot, but 2.5 yards-ish. The B with the short sleeve and the short hemline is 2 yards, and then C with the flutter sleeve is even less than that, which just goes to show you that it's all about how the pattern pieces fit together. You would think C would take more fabric than B, right? But it doesn't, unless that's a mistake. And then we've got finished garment measurements. Again, very close fitting. Well, actually, the bust is kind of roomy. I mean, I would get roughly 3 inches of positive ease. It is a woven though, so you don't want it to be like, you need some, room to move around. And then in the hip area, There's a couple of inches of ease as well, it looks like. So good. Yeah, I would consider this for myself in probably not a woven, especially not a lightweight woven, but I would consider it in a more stable knit for sure. Sizing is the other version, 6 to 14 and then 16 to 24. All right, now we've got a dress, a little fit and flare, very flary skirt here. I'm sure it comes with that belt, which is actually really quite cute to do the contrast. This is probably Ponte fabric. It looks like a collar. Yeah, maybe like a fold over collar even. Kind of vintagey, you know. You've got your set-in sleeve with a little slit, and even on the underside of the sleeve cuff, there is that little pop of color too. This is giving me strong Boden, the online clothing retailer from, I guess they're from London. Strong Boden vibes here. Strong, the colorway, everything, the color contrasting. The skirt for me is just too long and too wide. We need to have one or the other, I think. Slimmer fitting and long, or flared and short. That's just me personally, obviously. All of these thoughts and opinions are only mine. And then again, you've got your back darts. You've got a center back zip. Oh, look. The back of the collar is contrast as well. I mean, this is not like some special sewing technique in order to achieve this look. It's really just rethinking, the fabric that you use and the placement of contrast fabric. This isn't like more difficult to sew, or you're not going to learn a new sewing technique from doing these color blocking. But again, it's interesting, it's different, and again, it kind of gets my creative juices flowing. The sleeveless version is also quite lovely. But look, they didn't color in the back. So that must be a mistake. But you've also got inseam pockets. I love they have belt carriers. Thank you very much. And then you've got another sleeve, shorter sleeve version. Also with the belts, although they didn't draw the belt on. C, I'm assuming has a belt because there's belt carriers. I don't know. Okay, and then cotton types, crepe, damask, double knit, which Ponte is a type of double knit, I think. Gabardine, linen types, piqué, Ponte, sateen, stretch wovens, wool types. So pretty much your medium weight wovens and stable knits. But the sleeveless version without the neckline, well, with that, pretty much all the color blocking is gone. But this would be a great spring-summer dress. This would be a great spring-summer dress. Spring maybe more so with the collar. This is a pretty year-round kind of pattern. You could make a ton of different versions for all kinds of different weather. Then again, it is pretty your standard fit and flare. They didn't really rewrite the book on pattern designs here, but at least they gave me some ideas to take to the patterns that I already have. I have a large stash, so if you're growing your stash, it's great to have a fit and flare option with a couple different sleeves. All right, so A with the sleeve takes a little more than 3 yards, and then they also have the contrast info here. This is also Mrs. and Women's. So again, I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity. I know we're in a crazy time right now where maybe the models are not as plentiful as usual, but they could have made this in a woman's size and showed her on the pattern cover, just to at least show that this is different in terms of sizing than the rest of their patterns. So that's a little disappointing. Okay, dress C with the short sleeve. I'm sorry, B with the sleeveless is still 3 yards. C must be shorter because it comes in under 3 yards. Finished garment measurements 33.5 to 51. And then the hip is, it doesn't matter, it's so wide. The waist, finished waist would have been nice. Okay. So your sizes are 10 to 18. Oh, this is where it gets really frustrating for me. I guess, but, well, let me finish. And then 20 women's to 28 women's. So I am a size 16 in the bust, 18 in the waist, and 22 in the hip. Now, with this dress, the 22 hip doesn't totally matter because this is such a roomy hip. Also, it's a very straight designed skirt, so I could easily, grade that out. But if it weren't that, if it were pants or something, having these two size ranges is more inclusive, yes, for the smaller end of the scale and the larger end of the scale, but those of us that are in the middle, I'd have to buy both. So, also a bummer. I mean, I know we've talked about this before. You guys have commented on it in the comment section below, but at this higher price point, if they are going to, continue with that, I support them charging whatever they want. They can charge $1 million for a pattern, but it's got to be comparable to whatever else we can get out there. And with some of these indie patterns costing as much or maybe less than this, getting all the sizes for that price, plus supplemental, videos and tutorials. I mean, this is not coming in as much of a value to me, especially if I have to buy 2 different size ranges, All right. So this next one is, that looks like it hurts. That is very distracting. Okay, so you've got another little funnel neck. You've got that under bust seam with the pleats again, but this one has a bit of a drop shoulder, actually a very dramatic drop shoulder with the sleeve attached to that. This is so distracting to me. I can't even, it's just so odd. Okay, and then these, so it's like these little darts close up here and then reopen at the bottom again. So that's kind of cool. And then again, you've got your long midi length, and they put her in some nude boots. Are we going to get it back? No. So this one we only get one photo of. But you can see it here. Let's just look at the line drawings. Okay. So, yeah, this is kind of like draping and shaping 101. They've got basically a gigantic rectangle, and they've cinched it in, scrunched it down, and done all these things to shape it into, a dress. So that's fun. The drop sleeve, drop shoulder, and then the sleeve attached, and then those open-ended darts. But you have the open-ended darts, 2 in the front, or technically 4 in the front, and then 2 in the back. Center back zip. I mean, this portion is going to be beautiful. I don't know about this drop shoulder sleeve situation just because it makes the sleeve so wide. We've already got so much fabric happening here. A slimmer sleeve might be nice. The website is still slow to respond. It's like, hello, thank you. And then we have another sleeve, more like a bubble with a cuff, maybe a shorter length as well, and then a third length with no sleeve. All right. Size for knits only, double knit, jersey, ponte, stretch velvet. So what is this? Oh, that's a Ponte for sure. Okay. So thread and invisible zipper. A little more than 3 yards for the long version, 2.5 for the shorter version with the bubble sleeve, and then under 2 yards for the shorter version with no sleeve. Finished garment measurements. Bust and hip we've got. So 35 inches to 50 inches. Very, very roomy bust. Again, the only finished garment measurement that really matters here is the waist, because that's the only fitted part, and that's the part that they did not give us. So whereas I am very, 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 very happy to see some finished garment measurements for the widths, not just the lengths of the garments, they need to be a little bit more thoughtful, from pattern to pattern about which ones they give us. But I'll take what I can get, right? Beggars can't be choosers. But at the same time, I think I can be a little bit choosy. Okay, so 6 to 14 and then 16 to 24 on the size ranges. Yeah. That one I think would look exceptional in a print. I appreciate that they did a solid for the cover, but I think it would look really good in a print too. And maybe something a little bit more lighter weight than the Ponte would help with all this volume. All right. Next up, another Mimi G pattern. This one is a knit top and skirt. Knit top and skirt. Okay. So, cropped, knit, sleeved, this really cool like fold over situation with a half zip. Maybe a cuff here. I'm not a huge fan of the polka dots, but I can see what she was going for here as a whole outfit. Is that? No, okay. I thought the collar might be like mitered or something, but it's not. This one we already saw. Okay. And I didn't even really look at the skirt, my bad. Okay, so this is really cool. This out of like a sweatshirt fleece would be so fun. I don't see it dressed up like this. I see it dressed down. Kind of like a take on nautical, a take on Ralph Lauren, a take on that preppy kind of style. And then the skirt, which is great in and of itself, I don't really see them together. But I also don't really wear skirts like this. So let's look at the rest of the what's the difference between A and B? Oh, the bottom band. Well, I love B. Okay. And then the skirt, we have a waistband, which I am assuming is curved. Little darts on the front and back. Very large patch pockets with a flap. And then a center front slit. The back just has your lapped zipper and then your center back seam. We didn't get any pictures of the back, but here's the skirt. Houndstooth. The proportion of the pockets looks good. Very flattering on her. Very flattering. So, okay. Sizes are 6 to 14 and then 16 to 24. Love this little top. All right, now we've got a tunic top, dress, and legging. Oof. That top is something else. Again, with the drop shoulder, like a dramatic drop shoulder with the little 3/4 sleeve that's very roomy. Kind of a slim fitting A-line silhouette here with the patch pocket, maybe at an angle, and then the tunic length. It would be a really cute dress if you lengthened it for sure. Are we going to get to see anything more from these leggings? Here's the back. A little keyhole. which I'm not even entirely sure that you need. I think you might be able to pull this over your head. But, okay, so here's the legging, which I wish they would have shown us, the waistband, but I guess that would be hard to do with this. Anyways, so you've got an actual waistband and faux pockets, and I think a side zipper as well. Yeah. So these are like pull-on ponte pants. You've got a back dart for shaping. So they're not leggings like athletic leggings. These are pants. Leggings as pants. That's the version we already saw. And then here's the dress version. Okay, well, thanks. Which you could add those patch pockets to if you wanted. But they put side seam pockets in, which have the little teardrop things, which I hate, so I wouldn't include those anyways. And then this is it also without the sleeve. Yeah, I don't know. This is really all about the pants, and then they needed a top, and so they just combined these two. I don't see what these two things have to do with each other at all. Other than it's a tunic length over a legging, so that kind of makes sense. But I would rather have seen a legging with Mimi G's little top. So, I don't know. Sized for stretch knits only with 25% stretch for the pants. So that's important that you have the right amount of stretch, such as double knit, ponte, stretch pleather. And then for the dress and tunic, cotton types, double knits, lightweight denim, linen types, ponte, stretch wovens, sweatshirt fleece. Sweatshirt fleece? I don't know about that. Terry cloth? I don't know about that. And wool types. You need your little zipper, a little button, and elastic cording. Oh, for the loop, for the button loop. So the legging, a little more than 2 yards at most. What's the finished hip? Now, is this the finished hip of the pant? Yes, A. Okay, great. So the finished hip is 29.5 to 50.5. Alphanumeric sizing. So 50.5, that's pretty good. I'm somewhere between extra large and 2X. And then they give you the bust of this, but that's pretty generous. So, and then the dress is under 3 yards and the tunic is 2 yards. Okay. All the sizes in one. Thank you very much. All right. The last few patterns here. This is a skirt. I'm assuming it's bias cut. You've got, You've got pleats in the front. This asymmetrical color blocking with this velvet. But you can see where her hand has been. And then somebody came through and they were like, ooh, let's rub these down. I don't even know. Oh, look at this. Where you can see where your hands have been on your butt. I don't get the velvet. But the color blocking at an angle is quite cool. And then the back has a dart as well. So I do like this color blocking. I just don't love velvet. That just never photographs well. Plus, like, any time you sit down or touch or brush up against anything, it's gonna show. So this is the pattern cover. It looks like we've got a few different lengths here as well, or maybe just 2 lengths. The difference between B and C. Anyone? I don't know. Maybe it says in here. Nope. Challis, charmeuse, cotton types, crepe back satin, crepe de chine, silky types, velvet, ponte, double knit. Again, kind of run the gamut there. I think that they made it in the velvet as their attempt at a holiday, something a little bit fancier. but still keeping in mind we're all quarantined. So thread, zipper, stay tape or twill tape. That's for the waistband. And then a line. Oh, it's fully lined. That's nice. And I think the lining is all in one. So the lining does not have this seam here, which is great. So it's technically like a third view if you just cut the lining, which is one of my fun little tricks to get more out of a pattern. And then the skirt for A, the longer version. So why isn't there a contrast? So you'd have to figure out the contrast on your own. They do. Okay. That's the difference between B and C. Okay. I get it now. They just didn't color it in like they normally do whenever you have a contrast. Technically, A and B have this seam, but it's still all one fabric. For A, the longer version, and B. And then C is the one with the contrast. But I'm pretty sure she's wearing A. And they contrasted it anyways. I don't know. I can see how that would be confusing to someone who hasn't really made a lot of sewing patterns. It's kind of obvious to the rest of us, but I don't know. Like maybe their little fact checker or their, details person hasn't been around much. I don't know. And then finished hip measurement is 35 to 50 and a half. Yeah, pretty roomy skirt. Pretty roomy, but not, terribly. Sizes are 6 to 14 and then 16 to 24. All right, we've got a top, alphanumeric sizing, all in one. This one looks to have kind of like a fold over collar, again out of this chunky sweater knit. I don't think I like sewing with that. I just don't think I like sewing with this. I have sewn with it in the past and didn't love it. I mean, this is 2 layers of chunky sweater knit around the neckline. It's just sort of hard to finish your seams. I'm not a fan. I would rather just learn how to knit, I guess. I don't know. Here is another look at it. I think she has on those pants from the other pattern. You can see it has a little slit here. Oh, and now she's wearing it with the skirt. That's kind of a cool look. Not for everyone, obviously, but I don't mind it. All right, so here are our line drawings. You've got the longer version with the wraparound collar. I think all 3 of them have this collar. Drop shoulder, sleeve attached. This might be a dress, actually. This is the asymmetrical hemline with the slit that she's wearing, and then this is a cropped version. So I know they're going to recommend fabrics other than chunky sweater knit, like interlock, bamboo, and modal. I actually thought that they would recommend... I mean, I guess there are lighter weight sweater knits, so that would be fine, but I'm surprised they didn't have like sweatshirt fleece and all of that. Because that could kind of be a kind of cool sweatshirt. I don't know. All right, so just under, 2.5 yards for the tunic, which I think is kind of like a dress. And then just over 2 yards for the asymmetrical top, and then under 2 yards for the shorter cropped top. Bust line, very roomy. We don't get hip measurements, none of that. And then, again, alphanumeric sizing, so they're all in one. Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather just go to the Goodwill and find something like this, All right, now we've got a pair of pants and a skirt. The pants are... got a couple little Well, they're high-waisted. They've got a little itty-bitty waistband, or at least like a facing under here. Um, Pleats that open up, kind of like a culotte, really. A wider leg. And then these pockets, which are terrible. Terrible. I hate a side seam pocket in a pant. What is the point? Like, give me a slash, you know? Here's the back. The back has, oh, it must have a side seam zipper somewhere. I don't know how she's getting into these. But the back has one set of darts. Center back seam. Pretty decent fit through the crotch, it looks like. Wide leg. This must be like a sateen or something. Just, oh, here's the skirt, which is the same design without a crotch. And yeah, side seam zipper in addition to a side seam pocket. So that's just a lot. Is this a seam? Is she wearing that? Oh yeah. There's a seam there. Or at least like some faux top stitching. What is that? It has it on the skirt too. And then you have the pants without that. Let's see. Mrs. Crop Pant skirt with stitched down pleats and decorative top stitching. That's all it is top stitching. It's not an actual seam line at all. Okay. Chambray, chino, cotton types, denim, linen types, pinwheel corduroy, super cute. Stretch woven, like sateen, and twill. Yeah, totally. A little less than 2.5 yards, less than 2 yards for the skirt. And then your finished hip measurements. It is a pretty close fitting hip, not a ton of ease, couple of inches for the pants. And then for the skirt, it's a little bit more generous. The sizing is 6 to 14 and then 16 to 24. They're okay. Again, nothing new. And then they have a little face mask for $14. You guys, come on. That's insane. But they have them for the whole family. So, there you go. All right, so that is our Simplicity Fall. Gonna head to the lookbook. What do you guys think? Now, keeping in mind that we are, sewing in the time of Corona, is this stuff that you feel like you would be making right now? Is this stuff that you're just going to pass on and you're just going to wait for the pandemic to pass and you will have forgotten all about these? Are there certain ones in the group that you really, really love? Actually, I'm quite fond of the Mimi G patterns. Those are the ones that are standing out in my memory more than anything else. So I do think this could be really fun, a really cute idea that would stand up beyond the pandemic. You could wear this in 2025 and it would still be cool. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. That's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very soon. Bye.